Hello, hello. I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And if you have a breakup story you want to share, send it into writemac.com. I could give you my take in a YouTube video just like this, but this is actually a live stream. It's topic based. And today it's a man's perspective on attraction. This was a request from yesterday in the live stream. I think it's an interesting topic because it came up a long time ago and I made a video about how to keep a man attracted. A woman asked me this, a coaching client, and she said basically she has no trouble attracting men or getting into relationships, but keeping the attraction seems to be a problem for her after 3 months or 6 months. And so I'd like to get your take out there, a man's perspective on attraction, because I know there's some men on the live stream that can chime in or put it in the comments below. And I think it's really interesting keeping a man's attraction because this comes up a lot. A lot of women, when they break up, that's one of the big issues is that the man lost attraction. And let's be honest, the woman loses attraction too, but that's not what the topic is about this video today. So that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below about your perspective of attraction. And I think it's interesting because what people don't realize in the world is that all men and women, let's just not say men, have a different perspective on attraction. And it's based on your past. It's based on what you like. And a lot of times what you are attracted to is something that came up when you were younger, a movie you watched, maybe when you were a teenager, or maybe your first girlfriend had some certain qualities that you're looking for. And so it varies. And a lot of people just assume that every guy's looking for that model or that woman that's in the movie that looks so perfect. And it's just not true. So I got some things to talk about. A man's perspective on attraction. First off, there is no one size fits all. There's no ultimate where if this woman's going to get any guy she wanted. Now, there are certain women that look damn good and exceptionally attractive, but there are still some guys out there that would find them unattractive based on personality, or they'd nitpick. Oh, she's got bad teeth, or she's got big hands. It could go on and on and on. And women do the same thing with guys. And what I'd say about this that's really interesting is there's some guys that are really picky, and there's some guys that would, hook up with anything that had a pulse, basically, So there are different types that are more attractive to men based on their earlier experiences in life, right? What they're attracted to. And some of the personality qualities is probably going to be similar to their mother if their mother took care of them really well. And so if their mother was someone that was, made dinner at the house and did the dishes, a guy for a long-term relationship probably will highly value a woman like that more than another guy that wouldn't really mind that otherwise. I've noticed this. A man, I wrote, just because a woman is a model doesn't mean another guy that looks like a model will like her. Think about that for a moment. Just because a woman looks like a model. And by the way, what a model is just the perspective of Hollywood or who that person is taking the pictures. Right? Because some of them are damn skinny, right? I don't know if I've met people before. Oh, I'm a model. And I go, wow, I didn't find her that attractive. And that's not to be a jerk. It's just visually, I don't think, wow, you're gorgeous. Well, you're a model. Okay. So what I'm saying by that is just because someone's famous or everyone else or society says they're good looking, doesn't mean that's the ideal one for women or for guys, excuse me. And it's interesting because this year in Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit issue, they had heavier set women, thick women, if you will. And I think that's great because there's a lot of men that find thicker, heavier set women even attractive. I've noticed this. This is an interesting thing. A man with a Ferrari will go after the woman that fits in that car. What do I mean by that? It's not that it's a small seating space. If he likes to show off or be flashy, then he wants a flashy woman. Think about that for a moment. Have you ever met someone that has a really expensive car? They have a really nice, expensive house. They have a lot of jewelry, what have you, flashy. they're probably going to go after a flashy woman. And what do I mean by that? That a woman that always has her makeup on, who has a low cut top and gets attention. Because what do you buy a Ferrari for? Now, someone go, oh, I buy a Ferrari. I think they're beautiful cars. I think they're nice. I like the one from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the classic. But it's a head turner. It's expensive. It's a conversational piece, right? That being said, it's also high maintenance. It's also very expensive. And so guys that are going after that kind of a woman don't mind the expense. They don't mind the high maintenance of dealing with their problems and their issues. Think about this for a minute. Do you know anyone in your circle or family, friends, who's well off, likes flashy? Maybe they're not even that well off, but they like flashy items. They like expensive stuff. They like expensive name brand clothes. And think about the partner they end up with and the crap that they deal with that partner, because to them, it's the ultimate to have a flashy looking woman with them, right? I've noticed that these men like their women like this. They like their women just like they like their cars. How you do one thing is how you do everything. In a lot of ways, a lot of people, and this isn't 100% true, but it is actually probably 70 or 80% true. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're sloppy in one area in your life, you'll probably be sloppy in multiple other areas. If you're neat and organized in one area of your life, you'll probably be neat and organized in other parts. And this bubbles over to who you're attracted to and their habits and their tendencies. At about 30, and this is a hypothesis, okay? At about 30, most men know their type and filter for it. They have a type based on who they've been with already, what they like. And they could surprise you. They could go out with someone, but most of the time you go, oh, he's with another woman that's, 5'6", blonde, tan skin. Some people have a type. Women have a type also. But they can change the type, and generally speaking, there's some pillar qualities that they really zone in on. Okay. Some guys would say, I absolutely want to date a woman that has a college education and has a pretty good job, because I don't want to be dealing with someone that I have to support all the time. That's not shallow. That's filtering. Okay. That's someone that says, that's what I value. That's something I do. Now, I had a friend a while back that actually used to do an ankle check. A lot of women aren't going to like this. He used to do an ankle check, and if he couldn't get his hands all the way around her ankles, he said it was a deal breaker for him, because her ankle ratio was too big, and it was something that he really filtered for. And he actually had done it a few times, and women got really upset about it. That being said, that's something that was a big issue for him. A woman having slim ankles, random, right? So men lose attraction. How do men lose attraction? I bet guys, you can make a lot of comments about this because everyone's different, but I just listed a few. Nagging about things over and over again that the guy probably isn't going to change. Nagging and complaining. Drunken flirting. I'm not saying you're an alcoholic, but when you go out and you get drunk and you're in a cocktail party, or I've heard this come up a lot in breakup stories. Well, I just, when I drink, I get a little friendly and this and that. I get it. I understand. A lot of women do. A lot of men do. The bottom line is drunken flirting. That's a big turnoff if it's your girlfriend or a girl you're seeing. If that comes up and you get a little bit frisky and you get a little touchy with some friend of his or a group, and they go out together and he's introducing you as someone he's with, that's a big one. And I would say flirting overall is a big one, but how far you cross the line, I feel like drunken flirting is worse. Okay. Number 3, being needy and clingy is going to be a huge loss of attraction for a lot of men. That being said, some men like needy and clingy women. I've witnessed it. As long as the woman's pretty good looking in his eyes, he likes it. He gets off on it. He feels that, that she hold on, guys, hold on. I got to take the call right now. You guys, some of you have been around guys like this or had friends where they literally, you're out watching a Sunday football and they got to take a call every 10 minutes and check in. And they just think it's normal. They just think it's part of the thing. For me, no bueno. For me, it's never been a part of my relationships. And whenever I start a relationship or start seeing someone, and that comes up, it's just dust. It's just done. So that could be a big one. Drama seekers. Not all women are like this, but there are some that just like drama. Again, you've probably seen this before. Women have probably seen this before, where women just like creating drama, right? And this is on some of these reality TV shows, whether they're real or not real. The drama that escalates over stupid shit. It's just ridiculous. Again, there's some guys that will deal with that just because they're attracted to the woman. But overall, over the long haul, this kills attraction. This is a big one. And this is more or less for long-term relationships. Lack of praise or support. Women, there's a large portion of women that feel like they're doing a big favor to men by fixing them or helping them with the way they dress or helping them with getting a better job that pays more. This has come up a lot, actually. And I've had friends that have gone through this where basically it's constantly you telling the guy what he's not doing right or what he could be doing better. There's a situation, a friend of mine had a pretty good job. I think he was making 80 or 90 grand a year, which in most areas of the world is a lot of money, but in in the Bay Area, it's not that much. I know it sounds crazy, but I think his wife was making double that amount, and she was just constantly hounding him about getting a new job, and he wasn't getting respected. And every time he talked to me about it, it really made him feel bad. And the reality was he had a pretty decent job. They had a good lifestyle. They were paying their bills. They had extra money, and he just got no praise or support of anything he was doing. And you could see when he's talking, it's like he's a little kid talking about the way she was talking to him. And women assume that a man doesn't need that. And at some point, if you're going to be together long term, you got to give the guy some praise or support, some reassurance that he's on the right path, some support. And I think women lose that in years 2, 3, and 4 when they're really focused on financials. Not all, but a lot. Financials, getting a house in check. You're not doing this right. You're not doing that right. That doesn't help the situation. Okay. And this is big on losing attraction. And then the last one would be women acting masculine and constantly putting the man in their frame. What does that mean? It's constantly, the guy has to constantly answer to you. He's constantly got to being in your frame means that everything you do and say is answering the other person or appeasing the other person or and you've seen this before in relationships, correct me if I'm wrong, especially long-term marriages, right? And women don't even realize they're doing it. And after a while, it's highly unattractive. Some men accept it over time, but in short-term relationships, if a guy has some gusto and he has some juice, he won't put up with it. He won't put up with it. All right, top 10 ways a woman can keep a man attracted. Number 1, show them you care about them. Again, showing praise, showing support, doing nice things for them. It's not necessarily gifts. Number 2, be loyal. That goes without saying. Men are generally attracted to loyalty, showing loyalty. That means not being overly flirtatious in public places. Where that line is up to you as individuals. Number 3, show them respect. And I don't mean like someone might take this the wrong way and go, what do you mean by that? You're going to have to come up with that on your own, but especially in public. I talked about this yesterday or a couple of days ago about getting in fights in public or berating your partner in public or telling them how shitty they are at something. Show them some respect in public. Number 4, be stable. So this is actually something that, is attractive for women, for men too, but be stable, have a good footing of who you are and where you're at in the world. It really helps any relationship, actually. Number 5, don't air any issues or personal things on social media. This comes up, actually, and men do it too, but this is a big one. Don't air any issues or personal things on social media. Number 6, stop fixing them. I think women think they're doing them a favor, but guys that have a high level of confidence, they get sick of this. If they want to fix something, they'll fix it on their own. Number 7, look the way you did when you first went out. Think about that for a minute. Is that possible? It's possible. The effort's possible. If you're together 10, 15 years, obviously it's probably not as doable, but your effort can always be there. The idea that I'm thinking of is when you just start letting yourself go. And if you do this in the first year or second year, and what I mean by that, I'm not just saying wait, but you just start going out and just not making an effort to look good. And this will highly, highly work against you. Men won't say anything, but they'll be bothered by it. Number 8, let him have his space. This is maybe number 1. Let a man have his space. And if he's the one that's clingy and needy, well, then that's a different story. But this is actually good for healthy long-term relationships. You guys should have hobbies or things that you do on your own where you get space and actually have 48 hours, 4 days, 5 days apart. It's very healthy for the relationship. Number 9, don't let bad advice from friends and family influence you. So women a lot of times have friends, they gossip, they project their bad relationships. Men too, but women tend to have more of this problem. And they need to be the person that strains out the bad advice and takes what they want that's suitable to them and useful to them and use it. Otherwise, if they're just taking bad advice and using it, this is highly unattractive. Number 10, don't assume things. Ask your husband or your boyfriend or who you're seeing questions that they can answer instead of you making assumptions. And number 11, the granddaddy of keeping your man attracted. What do you think it is? Dun, dun, dun. Rob, what do you think it is? The number 1 thing to keep your man attracted. What do you think it is? Dun, dun. I think it is dun 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 dun. Be feminine. Could be. Say thank you. That's so true, actually. To actually say thank you when someone does something. Rob, I think it's that one. I think it's that one. And I think that, yeah, I think it is that one. And actually, not just have sex regularly, but have good sex. And there is a difference. Correct me if I'm wrong with everyone that's on deck today. We got 9 on deck. I appreciate you is a big one, though. I agree. I think that's very big because I think that there's a lot of women that lose sight because that's what they always want. And they feel like the man's a bit feminine if he needs a thank you or an appreciate. And let's be honest, you don't necessarily need to say thank you or appreciate. You can do things, right? You can do things that convey appreciation. But that's a big one also. But I'd say, Rob, you hit it on the head, literally. That's going to be a big issue for all men. And a lot of times I've met men that have been married for 10, 15, 20 years. And they literally have told me, like, we didn't have sex the last 4 years or 5 years. And so when they break up, they're done. They're done. There's a whole aspect of the relationship that's done. And they're like really uncomfortable because people from the outside don't even know that that's going on. They think, oh yeah, Rob and Sally have a really good relationship. They're a really good couple. Wow, they really keep themselves in shape. They both have good jobs, but no one knows what's going on in the bedroom. That the idea that they've, haven't hooked up in a long time, or that when they do, one of them doesn't really like it that much. It's an issue. It's an issue. How to keep it spicy. I would say one of the biggest things to do is to get your space and appreciate each other and realize that if you have a night where you had bad sex, it usually carries over to the next time you think, oh shit, now it's going to be bad again. Right. Because I don't know, bad sex might be worse than not doing it at all. I don't have a physical type. I have values I'm attracted to, and energy is very important. Well, there you go. You're attracted to certain values. I got you. Energy, I agree with. And there's awkwardness around people that you just don't line up with. Drunk and feeling is worse. Wandering hands. Wandering hands. I'm at the gym. This one's for you, Judy Jack. So I'm tuning in. I can do both at once. Good for you, hon. Rob, what are you drinking? Bad girl on deck. Hey, Rob. I'm glad I asked that question. A XL Red Bull. Wow, you drink Red Bull at night? Oh, I thought you were a guy for some reason. A guy? Do I read like a guy? Like seriously? It's the name, I think. And there's no picture there. But the idea that it's purple, maybe that would be. I don't know if I should laugh or be offended. Either way, it's cool. Well, you both did LOL. I agree with supporting your mate. I am very giving though, so I always encourage people in general, not just a mate. No support, they become roommates. Yeah, I mean that's a big one. It's really overlooked to be supportive. Um, yes, women should not act masculine. That's a massive, huge red flag of a turnoff. What's up, Sabina? Um, and it happens. It happens over time, right? And you as a man in the relationship have to deal with it and confront it, or else it'll just get out of hand. Be loyal. Do not hook up with the neighbor. Goes without saying. Saw your opinion about over 40 plus. I'm disappointed. What is that about, Sabina? Let me scroll up. My opinion. I don't know. Saw your opinion, Rob. Saw your opinion about women over 40 plus. Is that from a different? Is that from a different live stream that you guys are on? It's thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry, guys. I lost my track here. Oh, cute. Sorry. Let me scroll up. Bop, 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 bop. I think it is Be Feminine. Say thank you. Not here on the other side. Okay. That's what I thought it was. Sex. Well, sex can be good, but that stuff gets routine after a while. Then when you want to switch it up, they're like, hold up. Who are you? Oh no, maybe that's your experience. That's funny. Is that you projecting? Is that the truth? Fun Shawa? Is that the truth about you? Kyle, then there's an argument. Women are not mental case if there are over 40 plus and not in a relationship. There's plenty of red. Did you say that about all women over 40? There's some hot women over 40. That's for damn sure. I mean, they're not all head cases. I wouldn't say that's true. Well, we just get into generalizations based on your own experiences, probably. But it's kind of funny what we had to withhold this because it has the F word in it. But the idea that if you try something new in the bedroom and they go, well, who did you learn this from? And they start accusing you of being with someone else. The idea is, well, no one else. Where'd you get this from? Did some research. My friend told me about it. There's plenty of red flags yet there are exceptions. All I was getting at is people need to be aware of the signs. Gotcha. Hey, Sabina, how's it going? I agree. I just remember I was supposed to do something earlier today and it's almost midnight. Oh, well. Rob, yeah, people ignore or excuse red flags. Write notes so you will remind yourself what you do. It's just a numbers game. Well documented. There are exceptions, though. Sabina, y'all know I can't read. Yeah, from Kyle's stream. Did Kyle have a stream today? Intelligence is highly attractive. I find it's an aphrodisiac. Don't you believe that intelligence varies in different areas? So what would be, this is a good question, because what would you qualify as someone being intelligent? Well-read, able to do many different things? To me, intelligence varies in different fields. I suppose to me, intelligence would be someone that understands the difference between opinions and facts and can hold a long conversation without acting like they know more than they do and actually being able to make an argument for their case that's not completely bullshit. It's just emotional. Would that be intelligent? I don't know. Monica, that's true, but from the jump, you can't see someone's intelligence. Something has to attract you. I guess though that working with someone, that's when you get that passive attraction where you weren't really physically attracted at first, but then you become more attracted over time. Rob gave an opinion on a woman's age on the other live stream. If she is alone and over 40 old, then ask yourself why. That's a bit harsh. I agree, Monica. Yes, and I stick by that statement based on all the issues that could arise. He's keeping it in his frame. No, that's just a friend said that. However, there are plenty of good single women in their 40s. I know several. Who is Kyle? Kyle has a show, Masculine Energy. Mac, did you say happy birthday to your mom yesterday? Was her birthday yesterday? Wow, good memory. Yes, it was my mom's birthday. My mom's birthday was actually September 26th, so I'm a day ahead where I am. But yeah, I had a good conversation with mom. She's good. 66? 66, I believe. Well, harsh, maybe, but it's just being honest. Harsh can be honest. Fuck, man. Can be honest. It's a generalization, but at the same time, that's what you believe. I mean, you could say the same thing for a guy too, right? I just look at it from a different perspective because I've seen so many different relationships that say women should look into the same about men. Yeah. There's a lot more options, I think, now for women in their 40s than there probably used to be with dating apps. I still think Mom McCarthy, thanks. Thanks. I appreciate that. My mom's name's Claudette. French name. She's a good human. She's a very good person. That said, women should look into the same about men. Yeah. Well, the thing is, if someone gets to 40 and they've had some failed relationships, they're seasoned, they should know what they want by that time, right? Shit, I'm almost 40. For example, if a person has multiple failed relationships, she and he initially comes across as the most attractive person to you, you're fooling yourself if you think it will work. That's an interesting take. That's interesting, Rob. It might, but chances are it won't. Cute. My name is French too. Yep. Grandfather was from France. I think that's an interesting point. What I would say overall, this is something I didn't know the last 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, and a lot of research and different books and stuff I've read. But really, when you're on a date or when you're even talking to people, really fucking listen to them talk about themselves. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, when they make I am statements or they say, I've always been the type to, uh, I've always been the type that always has bad luck with jobs. Really? Or I've always been bad with money. Really? Well, that's going to continue. That's their belief. They're going to make that true. And so those are things that are going to come up. If someone's had some bad relationships and then they talk to you about, wow, I had some horrible relationships in my 20s and early 30s. And I went to see, there was a guy, this reminds me of a guy that I did a live coaching with like 1.5 years or 2 years ago. Most level-headed guy I've ever dealt with, had a great job, had his dog in the video, and he really liked my channel. And he was thinking about revisiting an ex. But he's like, man, I was an alcoholic. I was this. And he goes, I went and saw my neighbor's psychiatrist or a psychoanalyst. I forgot what he said. But he goes, I started seeing him, got some really good therapy. Now, if someone started saying that, and you could see their energy, they're like, wow, it just changed who I was. I had some issues with my parents when I was young. So if they've basically conveyed to you that they've worked on issues since those breakups, then you could say like, oh, wow, they've made some changes in their lives. I think some of the worst things that you'd want to run from is people that are not taking responsibility, accountability, and blameful. Those are big ones because that just means someone's not in touch with their role in things. It's like a card game. You go with the odds. There are exceptions, of course. That's a good way to put it. There are outliers. Great book. That's a good way to put it, Rob. I'm with you. Nah, people in their 40s actually feel like 25 mentally. Some people don't really grow up. They just grow old. Well, I feel like that at 38. And someone asks me my age, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, 38. Fucking how did I get to 38? And then you start trolling through all the stories and relationships and places you've been, and you're like, damn, I've done some dirt over the years, right? I've done some stuff. It's better than if I write out my timeline or something like that. I got a lot of stuff to share. It's really about that. They're anchored habitual ways to a certain extent. People rarely change who they are unless there's a crisis. Past a certain again, like a breakup, past a certain again, there are psych studies on this topic. Oh yeah, the older you get and the more you're into your habits, the harder it is to break them. Absolutely. Absolutely true. Looking someone's age is thumbs down to me. So low class, a level of culture, wrong in so many ways. I would look at it if she's healthy in all ways. Yeah, you can be surprised, right? If you talk to someone and they tell you their age and they tell you people have the ability to change if they want to. It just takes work. On the flip side, do most people do it? Probably to a certain age. Bad with money, irresponsible, can't really hold a job, brings no value to the company, disposable, not reliable. Well, that narrows it down. I hope some of that makes sense. Nothing can ruin a person's life than getting involved with the wrong person. Well, one thing I've noticed that people that make good decisions, they don't have a problem identifying stuff like that early and cutting anchor and not carrying it on. It's not looking at someone's age, it's being aware of what may go wrong. It goes both ways with men and women. Well said, Rob. You're on deck today. Rob's got something to talk about today. He's not playing around. He's got a fucking Red Bull in him right now. He's juiced. Rob, I agree. People are set in their ways after a certain point. I'm not exclusively talking about women here. Women should judge men in the same way. That's a good point. It's like, Rob, we talk about basketball, and don't worry, I'm not going to get into basketball, but if you look at a player's stats, that's how we judge them. So you look at, and the women will get this too, even if you don't like sports or you don't like basketball. Let's say a guy shoots 40%. That means he makes 40% of his shots, right? If you look at some guy that's played in the league 10 years, 12 years, Rob, you might want to check this out because it's so true. Usually, that guy will, if he increases his shooting percentage, it'll be 2 or 3 or 4%. It won't be 10 or 20%. It's usually very over the 10-year period. In their first 2 or 3 years, sometimes they change. But after that, from years like 4 to 10 or 11, they're very, very consistent about their level. And that's based on their habits and their beliefs. And I think that's what Rob's saying is if you're staying in that zone, you're probably going to get a lot of the same results. It's interesting, though, if you look at stats from people in sports, that's why the greatest players usually stay the greatest players, right? It's not just talent. No, it's habits, it's practice, it's belief. It's all those other things. It's like one of the biggest things in a lot of self-improvement books is you guys have heard of the 4-minute mile. Some guy ran a 4-minute mile. He's the first guy to run the 4-minute mile. And then after that, there was no one in the world that had done a 4-minute mile. And after he did the 4-minute mile, like 5 or 6 other people did it within 2 years. Because now people are like, oh shit, someone can do that. I got a goal I can get to. I hope some of that makes sense. It's not looking at someone's age. Rob, I agree. I'm not exclusively talking about women here. Women should judge men the same way. It's an amazingly low percentage that can actually turn their life around. Plenty of studies on this. Maybe we're like fine wine. Maybe. Rob, look the world you live in. New generation of young people in 20s are not the same as people in the 20s from the generation. I agree. Because I was 2001. I was 20. So yeah, you'd be talking about me. It is true. It's really true. I think that it's a higher level of change because of technology and the internet. I agree, Rob. How the heck do y'all highlight a name? I feel so lost. They'll tell you in a moment. I see a pattern in every guy I've ever attracted to. They are go-getter types. They also are very successful in their own right, and they have positive energy. Well, that's a reflection of you if you're able to identify that. Yet later on, they still have some faults, right, Monica? No one's perfect. I always think this is funny when someone starts out their breakup story and they go, everything was perfect. And I'm like, until it wasn't. Because there is no such thing as prolonged perfection, I don't think. There's moments that seem perfect or that are perfect, but they're just moments. I tried, but mine doesn't highlight. Weird. Rob is co-hosting. He's got a Red Bull in him, right? That's what they're for. Coworker I work with is 42. She's been divorced for 3 years and is the most legit, fair, honest person who would be a great partner. She just married the wrong guy first. Oh, man. She's been divorced for 3 years and is the most. Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's what's really interesting about that, Rob. Again, from my bird's eye view, talking to people in breakups that have a lot going for them. And then they tell me about all the, I got this great job. I got this, I'm that. And then you're like, so what happened in the relationship? There's something there that they had a role in that they accepted or didn't accept that you're not seeing as part of the relationship. But you can't end up with the thing about marriage, I think, especially, is a lot of people, because it's marriage, will stay in and lock in on something that's not going anywhere just because it's marriage and they don't want to get divorced. I do have a part of, I have to do my part since G Money and Brand New Skinner are not here. Yeah, those are big shoes, but you're just as capable. I need to start thinking like you guys. Rob, it's okay, I see. And the 42-year-old has no messed up past, great job, and lots to give. Have you asked her out yet, Rob? A 4-minute mile was quite the accomplishment. I actually tried to run the 4-minute mile. I came semi-close, but can't break it. That's big, dude. But you know that story, right? So you know what I'm talking about. I know girls in the 20s with 3 divorces. Wow. That's a book. You're in your 20s with 3 divorces? Now, if you talk to someone and they have 3 divorces and they're blaming the other person, it's always the other person, that's a huge red flag because you had a role in that. Everyone wants a guy with those qualities. At that point, has to ask why, especially with divorce laws. I have an XL Red Bull in me. I know you do, Rob. Yes, Rob. So there is your 20 years old girl to date. 20 is an age where there's lots of dating, of course. Yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for. That's for damn sure. Maybe it's time I have one more XL Red Bull. What's XL mean? Just a large Red Bull? Is that what it means? Or is it a type of Red Bull? Just an extra large? Mac, that girl I showed you in the pic of was 29. What do you told me you're 32 or 34, Rob? So what makes a woman clingy in your opinion or needy? Sometimes women express how they feel and are called needy when actually they are being assertive. 32, that's a great age, Rob. Man, 32 is a great age. That's a great age to be in. I think in the Rational Male, they say that's the most attractive age to be at. I think that's what they say. I'm not saying that. I just think it's a great age. Late 30s. You want to hear something funny? I'll address that in a minute, Monica. You look at, because we talk about sports, right, Rob? And once I hit 35, 36, I was going and playing pickup basketball, right? And I'm like, damn, why am I so sore or step slow? And it's like, yeah, these are the guys that I watch on the NBA or I watch on TV. And I'm like, this fucking guy's getting old now. Get him off the court. And it's usually 35, 36. You don't see many, you know what I mean? It's so funny. And I'm like, I'm that guy. I'm that guy playing now. And 32, 33, you're still swift and you're still moving, man. Still got a few good years. So what makes yeah, I just saw what Sabina wrote, but the reality is she's right, actually. Everyone has his own opinion on that. Many men search for mommy. I agree with that. That one guy's idea of what's clingy and needy is different than another. And there's guys I know. I've got a good friend, and he's like, "Oh, my wife's extremely needy." He just deals with it like as if it's okay. It's fine with him, and he placates to it. So it's not necessarily bad for everyone. To me, I don't like it because I'm highly independent, and it's annoying as hell. And it's just I do a lot of things on my own. But I would say that individually, everyone has their own way of dealing with that. What I would say would be clingy is over calling and texting. Where are you? What have you been doing? That would be one. And a man could be the same way. Not allowing a guy to go on a fishing trip with his friends for the day because you want to hang out. Things like that. Always wanting to spend time together 24/7 would be another one. You need your space. You need your space. And I think some couples in that honeymoon phase don't mind it, but then eventually someone's like, I really want my space. And if the other person doesn't have much of an outside social life or hobbies or things, this happens all the time where they're like, well, she didn't, or he didn't really have a lot of outside friends, or he didn't really have a lot of hobbies. That's not your fault. But then that creates the thing that you're their only fun or you're their only anchor to hang out with. The question you have to ask too is if someone accuses you being clingy and needy and you don't think it's true, well, then don't accept it. Women who repeat themselves on the same statement. Sounds like something that's happened to you before. Avoid the men who search for their mommy. Those guys hardly ever change, ever. Run away from those men fast. I see some of those in my work. It's pathetic. I have a weird story about that. I used to live in this condo where the cordless phone would pick up other conversations. Oh, shit. What's up, Daya Tom? Welcome. We're at 42 minutes here. I once picked up the phone and this guy and his girlfriend were talking. She told him she loved him 30 times within a 7-minute period. The question is, why'd you keep listening? Oh my God. That is needy and clingy. Do you love me? Do you love me? Yeah, I love you. Yeah, I love you. That's needy and clingy. Think when you learn to read people, you notice that a few minutes odd conversation with those people, many women also look for daddy. Yeah. Clingy is a guy trying to shower with you every single time. It's like, my God, man, give me room to breathe. Again, that's probably a personal experience. People, when you give your examples, usually are personal experiences. That's pretty funny. Now, on the flip side, there's some people that would like to shower all the time. You know, I had a girlfriend like that before. It didn't bother me so much. It wasn't needy or clean. It wasn't all the time, actually. It was just sometimes. And it was just like, oh, okay. Doesn't really bother me. It was like every 10 seconds. I love you. I love you. It was the weirdest things. And you know what? Some people think that's normal or that's how a relationship is. If that's how their first relationship is. Yeah, that would be highly annoying to me. Actually, using the word love overly too much, or someone early in a relationship demanding to say I love you early on, that's not something I enjoy. He is saving water. It sounds crazy, but it's actually happened 30 times in 7 minutes. Friends and family do not give the best advice. They are usually going on their own experience and are not able to be objective. That's absolute gospel, Judy Jack. This is really underrated because I come across this a lot, and people just think, "Oh, I hate that in-law, or I hate that mother-in-law, or I hate." It's always comes back to whatever their personal experience was. That's all it is. And so, if they have a bad track record with men or women, or they have a bad marriage, they're just going to project that onto you. Best question ever. I couldn't help but listen. My phone wouldn't hang up. I'm not judging you, bud. I'm not. You could have put the phone down though. It was passive entertainment, right? She was counting. Do not listen to family friends. Listen to Mac. Thanks, Rob. I mean, the amount of people I've had tell me, I'll just go. Was there any issues with her friends? Oh, this one guy. I just remember. Oh, mate, he had a London accent. Oh, mate, it's fucking crazy, mate. It's crazy. Her mates. He just kept going on and on and on. And I'm like, well, that's an issue. They were in college, and it was her roommate. The thing is, roommates are big. Roommates are huge on influencing individuals in university relationships in their early 20s. That's a big one. That comes up over and over again, and you just can't overcome it. What are you going to tell them to move out? Because a friend will work against you. Mac asked the right questions. Why do you keep listening, Rob? It loses its meaning. I don't know what that's in regards to. It loses its meaning. Oh, love loses its meaning. Yeah, if you overdo saying I love you, I agree. But I mean, some people say it every day, I grew up in a household when I was a kid. You're talking about families or mom and dad. We just didn't say I love you a lot. So I'd say I say it more to my mom now every time I say goodbye, and I'll say it here and there. Rob, maybe phone connection was bad, so she had to say it 30 times. I don't think so. Okay, let me stop giving my examples. I'm telling on myself, I guess. I don't mind. I think examples shed light. I think it's vulnerability, and it's certainly what I do. It's like I always reflect back on my own situations just to show you guys I'm not perfect. We all have stories to tell. It's what makes the puzzle pieces line up. He was like, "What did you say? No reception." Maybe he was maybe the guy was wanting her to say it again and again. Self-educate. Actually, that's a good question on the "I love you" question. How do you swerve someone who tells you that and you don't really want to tell them back because you're not there yet? You know what? I've had it happen before. Um, I've had it happen before actually. As the guy in the relationship, it wasn't that I didn't care about her. I just wasn't really ready to say I love you, and so I just held it back. But I didn't do it in a mean way. Wasn't mean about it. The other thing you can do is say Evil, which is backwards love. My ex Evil, then you're not saying I love you. My ex expected me to leave everything I'm doing once he steps through the door coming at home and run into him. Sorry, I got to read that again. My ex expected me to leave everything I'm doing once he steps through the door coming at home and run to him. See, that would be a needy and clingy, and that's just something I've talked about in a past video that people don't realize how much their schedules affect their relationships. If you got a 9 to 5 with a job that's got a lot of stress, you're not going to come home and have a lot of love and energy for your partner. And so that's going to affect your relationship. Dea, I love your page. You speak my language. You described all those topics with a high level of scientific knowledge. Oh, Dea, you have a page? You have a website or something? Um, Share it with us if you have a website or something like that. Uh, you know, you know the life, Dea. Mac loved the British accent. Someone else might say that's not British accent, but I'll do my best for you. It was so funny because how's the friend? Might her friends? Oh God! And it's like he didn't even bring that up before. Vanessa's Variety Show, one of the best names I've ever come across. VVS, VVS. Rob, hi Dea. Do a video on that. On what? No, the phone connection was crystal clear. It was it was the strangest conversation I heard. I just do photography and talk about narcissism and trauma on my channel. Not sure really. Oh, you have a channel. Okay. Well, narcissism and trauma. Wow, that's a good combination. Um, photography, cool. I just gave a thumbs up. Thanks for the first thumbs up for 50 minutes in. I appreciate you guys. I think as I get older, I feel vulnerability, openness, and a man who's done the inner work is very attractive. So many people that are not self-aware, which is not attractive. The way you talked about trauma and narcissism. Okay. I'll have to check that out. I will check out the channel. There you go. There's a little plug for you, Daya. Daya Tom. That's the name of the channel. Right. Thank you for the likes. Thanks. VVS. That was my like. I can't identify the likes, but thank you. SB, glad you liked it. Cool. Daya Tom. We got the funny thing is not a lot of guys came on for this one. Yet the access was yeah, that accent was Australian. See, I've had friends tell me that before. That's not even a British one, and that's not this. It's just fun. It's just fun. Do the video. Do video on the I love you swerve to avoid the I love you. I'm that guy on this one. It's an interesting topic. What time is it in Thailand right now? 10:50 a.m. on the dot. 10:51. Beautiful day today. Gorgeous day at the beach today. Woo. Really, really nice. I don't even know. And I never even pay attention to the weather here. That might sound crazy. I knew you were going to ask that. I don't know because they put it in Celsius here. I could probably look it up. Phuket is inner work and introspection is attractive. Phuket, Thailand. What's up, Union? 32 Celsius. You looked it up already. Thanks, bud. What's 32 Celsius in degrees? Fun is good, Mac. Fun is good. Long-term relationship attraction. Is there a way to raise it other than not being available all the time? What's up, Brian? Everything's good, bud. Thanks for asking. All is well. Long-term relationship attraction. Is there a way to raise it other than not being available all the time? I would say not being available. I would say having space. I actually 89 degrees. It doesn't even feel hot to me. It's beautiful out today. It's a bit yeah, I see the beach every day. I don't get on. Well, recently, the last 3 months, I take a walk on the beach about 6 days a week. Yeah. But right now, it's really calm. The water's really beautiful right now. One of my principles is you want to live where people go on vacation. I lived in San Diego on the beach for about 4 years, and people go, "You live here?" And now people do the same thing here. That's a good question, Daya. Let me long-term relationship attraction, is there a way to raise it other than not being available all the time? Let's everyone chime in on this one for a moment. Let's chime in on this because I think this is a good one. Long-term relationship attraction, is there a way to raise it? Number one, I would say keep your space. There's actually what I started to say was in a book I most recently read, they said that couples that slept in separate rooms in long-term relationships actually said that they had better sexual relationships. Random, right? I would say, do adventurous things together and actually like hanging out. Start some kind of hobby together. Yeah, long-term attraction is tough and it's fleeting. What you have to deal with is no matter what in a long-term relationship, there is going to be dead moments. I don't like using that word. There's going to be dry moments. There's going to be dry moments in the lust and passion area. And that's okay because stuff comes up in your life, but you have to keep trying and making attempts. Um, the other thing is, Daya, I would say if you have common goals, and that's why I think when people have kids, there's a commonality there. There's a commonality of purpose to do the best for your kid, and so that keeps people together. But I would say one of the things that people don't really think about, and it's a big one, is schedules. So if your jobs don't line up, careers don't line up, and some people don't work, some people are stay-at-home dads, stay-at-home moms, but your schedules, if you both work 50 hours a week, or one of you works 50 hours a week as a lawyer and the other person's a teacher, you're like, how much time are you really spending together? And then the time that you're spending together, are you irritable? That's a really big one. So the idea of your careers or whatever your purpose is, they should line up together in some way. I think that's very underrated. I used to remember every school I went to, it felt like there was 2 or 3 couples that were teachers, husband and wife, and they worked at the same school. And I thought, wow, they have the same schedule. They have the same days off. They have the same holidays. It must be and a lot of them are together for 20, 30 years, and they can talk about school together. Seems pretty nice to me. That makes a difference, right? Whereas if a teacher was married to some guy that was on Wall Street, or, his idea of putting money first and, you know, what's valuable and what he's going to talk about at work compared to the lady that's a first grade teacher, it's not going to line up overall long term. Monica, agree, inner work is very attractive. People should do it. I'm jealous you get a beach every day. Move. Where are you at in the world, Fun Sawa, if you want to tell me? Inner work. For those that do, that takes inner strength. Long-term attraction, good question. The small-minded people's mindset is not attractive. Being open-minded, yeah, is attractive. Make sure there is no dynamic shift between masculine and feminine energy. Start a hobby together, that's good. Make sure as a man you don't become a beta provider. It's true. There's some guys that like that role and accept it. Those types are literally everywhere. Oh, shoot. I meant long distance. English not my best. Long distance relationships. Well, long distance would be different. To me, long distance, the elephant in the room is, when are you guys gonna live in the same city, in the same house? Because eventually it's got to happen. You can prolong it for 2 or 3 years, and really the same thing you like about the relationship, which is the space you have. And probably if you're in a long distance relationship, when you guys meet up, you should not be fighting. It should be lustful. It should be fun. It should be exciting. If you guys meet up and you're fighting all the time, that's not going to last very long. But the other part of it is, how long are you going to be long distance? You're going to do this for 5, 6, 7, 8 years? You're neglecting your own needs. Maintain your identity separate from the relationship. Have your own hobbies. When you come together, then you have something to talk about. Okay. Long distance as opposed to long term. It's totally different. Now I would say have your own interest and time apart so you can go away and then have time back together. Yeah, I always look at it like my father and mother have been married 45 years. It hasn't been rose petals and wine glasses, but my father always hunted, and he would just go on hunting trips for the weekend. I think he took off one time to Wyoming by himself. From California, and just drove and came back like 2 weeks later with a deer and some other things. But I'm not getting into hunting right now, but he'd go out and do things on his own and go away. He'd go hunting or fishing. Those were his getaways. And it was never like, oh, can I go hunting? Can I go away this weekend? My mom didn't mind it. And when I got older, he'd take me with him, but he always had that independence. And I think it really helped the relationship as opposed to a long-term, long-distance relationship. Yeah, you got to go spend time together when you're rested and relaxed. I think that's a big one. I think that's highly, highly overlooked, that schedule and jobs or careers or whatever you do in your free time, and you come home, you're feeling energetic and happy, you had a great day at work. He comes home and he's pissed off and angry and he's been in 2 hours of traffic. And you're like, why don't we get along? That's a big reason why. Variety show is Chris short term. I like the separate room idea. It's actually when I heard it, it's in the book Atomic Attraction. I'm like, what the fuck, really? Because you look at that, that's like 1950s Leave It to Beaver type shit in the TV shows. But it probably helps. It probably helps. Separate rooms is cool for a man, cave man, woman, but sleeping separately, that's weird. Sabina took her message back. DC, really? I think that's DC is first or second most expensive city in America, I think. A lot of good work there, though. No beaches, though, huh? He's long-term. Well, I would hope that would be long-term. Due to the circumstances, we've been forced to get to know each other on a deeper level instead of jumping to intimacy. So I don't know. It could burn. So like I said, long distance, there's some positives, but there's a shelf life. It's going to expire. Some point, someone gets tired of not having human energy in their space regularly. You got me? You know, you can text, you can do FaceTime, you can do these things, but there's no finish line. Someone gets sick of it, and you're obviously leaving the door open that you guys can meet someone else. Oh, I would never do that. Actually, yeah, because you're not meeting them after work, and you're going to run into someone or someone at work that you're attracted to that you don't have someone waiting at home. You can go out with them. That's when the expiration comes up. Long distance to me is an hour to an hour and a half. Anything longer than that is not going to happen. I don't know how people do it. Oh, I've done it where it's an hour plane ride or 2 hour plane ride. That's not so bad. If you have enough money to, that's the other thing, to buy a flight, and it's only an hour flight, which would be an hour flight's like an 8-hour drive, 7-hour drive. For me, the best way long distance works, it depends on where you're at in life. In my early 20s, I had a semi-long distance thing that was open, where we'd see each other once a month, but we weren't official. But we both agreed, like, don't ask questions, don't go there. And it worked out. Later on, we got together. Out really quick or have a stronger foundation. Separate room idea can a lot of benefits. I like it too. When I first heard it, I was like, but actually, long distance now, I would say don't get wrapped up in the texting shit and go see each other. Make long distance communication less, but more creative. Cut video clips and stuff. That's a good idea, Judy Jack. Yeah, don't get wrapped up in the texting. Oh, where are you right now? What are you doing? That's not going to help. Yeah, you got to have freedom and independence inside the relationship. Fighting when you're meeting up could be a byproduct of frustration from being apart all the time. Sure, could be. Variety show, cool. That's a good way of developing things. Not to me, long-term relationship can work if people are fully committed to each other and are really fact where they are in life. My phone is right alone some words. Okay. They used to do that in the 50s. Yeah. I mean, you guys ever see reruns of like Dennis the Menace? I don't know if you're old enough for that, Rob, but they used to have that on Nickelodeon, and they used to always sleep in other rooms. Yeah, that's fair. I think if there's a similar place in life works in their favor. Nowadays, what's up, Felipe? Came late to the scene, but it's appreciated. Nowadays, young men let their girlfriend move in because they think they're going to get laid more often. I have my doubts. Oh, yeah. I think actually there's a lot of cases where it helps with financials for both people. Hey, I couldn't get a nice apartment on my own, but I could get one with you. It's led with good intentions, but yeah, no beaches. I'm jealous. And the beaches on the East Coast aren't very nice, are they? Go down to Myrtle Beach. Go visit my friend Mary. My male friends told me that too. The two 21-year-old that move in ASAP, there are a low percentage of that working. I'd say, yeah, you probably want to live in separate places as long as you can, looking back. But I've had 3 girlfriends where I lived together for a long time, but I'm a good housemate, so I'm in a pretty good mood most of the time and whatnot. It really has to do with what's going on in your outside life. If you live together and someone else has personal problems and you're around each other 24/7, or they hate their job or they have a bad habit, that's when it gets real. As long as there's a plan to move into the same area in the LDR, should be okay as long as the connection is deep and true, I guess. Yeah, you have to have a plan at some point. And I'd take it a step further. If you have a plan and then it doesn't work, you say, "Oh, we're going to move in together next year," and you don't do it, that hurts the relationship. Reruns of Gilligan's Island. Wow, I didn't even know they still played that. It's amazing. You have to have the funds though. Long distance isn't for the broke and weak. You got to put the work in. Yeah, because if you're gonna visit and take a plane ride, yeah. People like texting long paragraphs. My idea of text is don't forget my peaches. What does that mean? Yeah, it's very expensive flight tickets, Sabina. Don't forget my peach. I'm not sure what that means. That sounds great, fun shot, but yeah, expensive. Better talk on the phone. Even that gets old to a certain level, though. If that becomes a routine that you guys talk on the phone all the time, that means she is direct, Mac. She is on point. Thanks, Sabina, for the clarification. This is a female topic today, huh? Rob was the only other guy. Oh no, Brian was in on it. Felipe was in on it. Sweet. But we didn't get into, lately I've been getting 18, 19 on deck. We kept it at 7, 8, 9 today. It's cool. The high school guy that thinks his girlfriend that does it to college far distance away usually gets the "let's just be friends" phone call. The guys do it to the women too, though. But yeah, going from high school to college, or the other transition is college to the real world, or they transfer colleges for for a major or something. These are very, very common breakups I come across, and those are timing and circumstances. They're not personal, and that's why they're hard to deal with for some people. But the bottom line is, when you're in your early 20s, are you going to be with the same person for the rest of your life? Probably not. Seen that happen plenty of times. LDR for young people are even harder. They're good when you see each other, but after a while, no. It's just more and more difficult. The "let's just be friends" call more or less means I met some other guy in the dorm and you are now part of my past. It doesn't necessarily mean that, Rob. It doesn't actually. It usually is a combination of them going out with their friends and seeing how much fun it is, and feeling guilty about that. Rob, those are young people. Let them make the mistakes. Hey, mistakes make people strong. Absolutely. I don't even know if it's a mistake. I think that it's just part of growing up. And in your 20s, your hormones are going all over the place and you want to drop seed. That's what it is. Nothing replaces nothing replaces in the person contact. You realize that anytime you've known someone online that then met, it's just a different dimension. Judy Jack, I agree 100%. I think the next generation in their 20s probably don't understand that as well because of text messaging and the internet. Doesn't always, but I've had some friends that happen to. I agree, but I'm with you. It might mean that they've outgrown each other too. It literally means "don't forget my peaches," like don't forget the milk. That's not a euphemism. Okay, I got it. I like peaches. I didn't understand any of the rules when I was. Oh, fuck no. Oh no. I didn't understand any of those rules either. Hell no. You know what? If someone sat and talked to me about them, I wouldn't even probably pay attention. For sure. If we can go back in time, Rob, with the knowledge and the life experience that we had now and be 20, woo, that'd be fun. That would be fun. You're 32 though. Shit. Mistakes are fine as long as you learn from them, as long as you don't make it a repeat action, right? I'd crush it if I was 20 with dude, 32 is not far off. Okay. It's like, I run into people that are 49, 50, and they always tell me, "Oh, 38 was great." So, right. You could still crush it at 32 because 32, you're still, I'm still crushing. You saw that. So enjoy your 30s. I do. I don't even think about it that much, you know? I think when people identify with, "Oh, I'm getting old now. I'm getting old now." I don't really identify with that. Um, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at and who I am at my age. Judy Jack, are you meeting strange men from the internet? What's going on here? Age is a state of mind. It is. You guys feel 30? I don't. Well, how old are you, Daya? If you're gonna make a statement like that. Um, for me, when I was young, when I was like 25, all the way up in my early 30s, you're older than 32. Okay, that narrows it down. Could be 100. Um, I was always told I looked young when I was when I was 16. People used to pull up next to the car and go, "Did you steal mom's car? You look like you're 12, buddy." Even when I went to get my license, and then when I was all the way up to like 29, 30, 33, I always got carded. And just recently, I don't get carded, and I go, "Wait a minute, starting to look a little older, huh?" I enjoy my 30s. Same, no dying. Most important, my health. Good for you. Show where you're at. If I knew all the things I know now, my God, health is number one. Rob, she is under 35. Sabina knows. Day Tom. Every time I get a phone call at home, is mommy home? I get a weird voice. I got a weird voice. Okay. Okay. Cheers. Any closing questions, folks? Coming up on 11:11 for me right now. Every time I got a phone call at home, is mommy home? Closing already? It's just getting good. We forgot to talk about the topic. Time to go surf. You surf? Where do you live in the world, Daya, to go surfing? Red Bull hasn't worn off. Yeah. No, but the reality nowadays. No, but the reality nowadays. Oh, that's right. You live in Israel. Okay. You surf over there? Wow. Okay. I'd like to learn. But no, but the reality nowadays is that you sometimes meet someone online, become friends, and sometimes decide to meet. Fair play. Fair play. Got my phone ringing right now. How many times do you actually get a call nowadays? You guys ever think about this? I have it on vibrate, so I don't even hear my phone, but um a lot of people don't talk on the phone now. They just do text. But I'm gonna have to call this person back because we got an appointment this afternoon. Israel, nice. Heard lots of great things about the beaches there. Really? Okay. I wouldn't know that. Um, isn't it? It's just amazing when you think about how far these live streams reach. It's pretty cool. A man's perspective on attraction. Okay, man's perspective on attraction. I give you mine. People don't call anymore unless it's a bank or your boss. Yeah, that's true. Someone from work usually. I have some friends that call though. I use I agree with your list, Mac. Well, thanks, bud. Okay, have a good night. Um, you get professional work calls. Okay. This was chill. Catch you guys next time. Enjoying my singleness now. Love from Nigeria, bro. Okay. I don't know why it came out. I don't know why it hid your thing. Judith, thank you. Enjoy your singleness. Day of Tom. Beaches are fine. Crowded, overcrowded, though. Okay. Tom, tourist. All right, folks. I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Thanks for showing up. Later, coach. Can't wait to check out the new content. No problem. Anyone out there, if you guys want to send your story in, send it in. If you got an old breakup story, send it in and I'll do my take on a live video. Things can get boring quick if there's not an understanding of attraction. Hell yeah. They can get complacent. Peace.